If you think the Arizona election has problems, you haven't seen nothing yet. We have so many problems with the Connecticut case. There are 8 or 9 judges committing felonies, and I'd like to describe one of them. So Judge Clark dismissed the election fraud case where, the Chinese government hacked Connecticut, and Connecticut hacked 20 other states, flipping the votes from Trump to Biden in 2020. Well, that's nothing compared to what's going on here. So I'd like to play an audio tape. I couldn't get the physical transcript, but listen to Judge Clark describe how he's allowing Hearst Media to steal the Connecticut election data.
And I think I see Mr. Flynn has appeared, so why don't we try
This is
Flynn
Judge Clark.
versus Dixon, which is number 6 on the calendar. Mr. Flynn, are you with us?
Hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much. Yep.
I
Okay.
object, Your Honor, to your presence after you dismissed the Secretary of State case because Mr. Dixon is the one who has the stolen petitioning candidate signatures.
Mr. Dixon has a affidavit from his attorney that Ted Bromley stole the petitioning candidate signatures in the state of Connecticut and gave them to Hearst Media instead of the town clerks. So all the chain of custody issues are void. They broke Executive Order 7WW 57,962 times, and this judge is covering it up.
Which is treason. I filed those with the state. You dismissed
Well, hold on for 1 second, Mr. Flynn. Let's just
This is
reorient
treason.
ourselves. Hold on, just want to reorient ourselves for the record. Mr. Flynn, just hold on 1 second. So this is Flynn versus Dixon. Mr. Flynn is self-represented. It's
He has a pro se litigation bias.
to the denial of a fee waiver for reconsideration of that. Attorney Schultz is also here on the call representing Mr. Dixon. Mr. Flynn had also filed a case flow request.
Denied.
Seeking to have this matter heard. Mr. Schultz filed an affidavit, which is number 136, which contests a certain element of that case.
None of these judges have seen a single exhibit, nor will they look at a single exhibit of fraud. And it's massive fraud. They have no idea what LHS is, GEMS. They have no idea what No Ink is. They haven't read the Connecticut Constitution. They don't honor it. They haven't read the Executive Order 7WW, and they're allowing the newspapers to slander candidates after robbing the candidate.
Flow request, specifically that there was consent to that Mr. Flynn had spoken to all parties about the filing of the case flow request and checked the box of consent.
Yes, I have sent every single party, every single thing. I send an email every day. And if you notice, the lawyer says he never checked his spam folder, so he wouldn't know. But more importantly, we've never heard from Kohler. We have never heard from Bromley. We have never heard from Irina Carini. We have never heard from Taffy Womack. These people did not answer their interrogatories or their admissions.
Attorney Schultz filed the affidavit 136, claiming that he was not contacted and did not consent to that. So that's what we're here about.
It's meaningless.
Your request for the hearing on the denial of the fee waiver and Attorney Schultz's notation and affidavit that the case flow request that was filed by you, Mr. Flynn, clicked off or checked off a box of consent that did not happen. So now let's pick it up, Mr. Flynn. So it's on the...
I sent them hundreds of emails. Actually, I send them an email almost every day. So telling me I didn't notify them is absurd. Okay? That's number one.
By the way, they've never responded to
100
potentially 1,000 emails.
Because all the assets of my brokerage firm are missing. Because Judge Adams, your associate, is a partner at Kelly, Dry and Warren. They have 10 attorneys claiming to be my attorney. They've been cashing my stolen checks. They cashed 1,239 stolen checks that the Stanford Police Department has been investigating since September 30th, 2000.
Clark has a criminal conflict of interest protecting drug addict Judge White.
I've never gotten discovery in 350
Oxycodone addict.
350 lawsuits. I want the stolen documents that his client, Ken Dixon, stole that are election documents. I gave them 57,000 signatures, 962 missing.
They have all the election data, it appears, for 12 candidates.
Signatures.
No one else can explain where they went.
His client stole them. They admitted to having them. Not only that, Your Honor, you are fully aware that Andrew Pritchard is alive. Hearst is claiming Andrew Pritchard's dead. Really? Why is that? Because the court is dead to Andrew Pritchard. The court is dead to Heather Lindsay. The court is dead to Sam Magliari. Any associate of Sam Magliari will not get a fair trial in the state of Connecticut, according to Judge Flowey's actual words. Randolph speaks about the ex parte communications between 7 judges. You're on the list. Kathanowski, Grimrich. You dismissed the election fraud case. Seitel is a Spanish company that is running the Connecticut election through German servers. Okay? I can prove that. I have all the documents. You guys...
You hear that? Clark is aware that Seitel, a Spanish company, is running Connecticut's elections. They have a total interface with China. Beijing hacked many cities in the United States through the Connecticut Education Network, through CISA, without certification of the Election Association. So let's get back into it.
Are working together to deny every pro se litigator a single right. I have never gotten a single affidavit I have approved. I've never I scheduled 45 depositions in one case. Never heard. I sued Jim Himes. Where'd it go? Where'd the case go? I have over 200 cases missing from the court screen. Last week, I subpoenaed the Edison system to get your inter-office communications with a federal warrant.
Yes, the judges denied a federal warrant for me to view public records, and the marshals stole 4 phones. Not 3, we're up to 4 phones. So 2.5 weeks ago, they stole 2 phones. 1 week ago, they stole a 3rd phone. They stole a $750 camera. And you're allowed in the courthouse with a camera, folks. You're allowed in the courthouse with a phone. You're just not allowed to record in the courtroom. And I was viewing documents that are a public record, and all these judges are discussing between them how they're going to screw any associate of a friend of mine who has 11 false arrests. So what they're doing is doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling down. And eventually, the 20 felonies of the 20 judges will come to light. We just had a hearing yesterday. It was very long, an hour and 20 minutes. We discussed how Judge White is a oxy addict, sitting on the bench, jacking bail accounts on innocent people from 150,000 to 650,000. Why? Why? Because whistleblowers in the state of Connecticut are under attack. Pro se people, as outlined by Chase Rogers, are not to get a fair trial, not to get any articulation, clarification, discovery, no depositions, no request for production, that's for sure. And even these judges have refused a federal subpoena to view their records. Keep in mind, I've been on the phone with the chief court administrator for weeks. Bizzuto is aware that the marshals are stealing property, felonies. That's a larceny. That's a felony. Before you come through the metal detector, they can't touch you, okay? They can't steal your phones and not give them back. They are stealing property and they are not returning it. I've asked 4 times for that property back. And they also refuse to give you a receipt. No receipt. You can't videotape them robbing you. It's alarming. Let's get back to the thing.
They denied the federal warrant. That is treason.
It's on the election. That's why it's treason.
How treasonous this is. I proved, okay, that Danbury, Connecticut hacked Pennsylvania. I proved Colchester, Connecticut hacked Oklahoma. Why? And I've been sending Ken Dixon.
Norwalk hacked North Carolina.
For Hartford, he did a smear campaign on me.
They know.
They blocked me from the ballot. They have the stolen signatures. You know Sam Magliari's alive.
Hearst stole signatures to write a smear campaign. Just like on T.J. Elgin, Tom Gilmer,
Sam Magliari, as you know, has been falsely arrested
Jonathan,
11 times. 11 times. The last 5, Judge McShane, I went to Sam's appearance. Judge McShane,
from Norwalk, who ran for mayor.
The case because of an ex parte communication that you were involved with Judge Randolph Blowy.
Jonathan Riddle.
Genario's involved. Excuse me. I have rights. I've never gotten discovery in a single case. I filed a case against 285 murderers, and it was dismissed. I filed the Stephen Barrier case. Kremrich is fully aware that the chief state's attorney took $1.5 million bribe. There's a $30 million bribe. Hearst knows all about it. Ken Dixon knows all about it. We already went down the Sandy Hook road. Blowy was the judge. Ken Dixon was the reporter. That was a FEMA mass shooting nightmare. I'm not saying people weren't killed. I'm saying it was planned, and Eric Holder wrote a check for $200 million to the state of Connecticut that all you guys, everybody covered up. Why'd they do the Alex Jones case in Connecticut? Because Billis is a criminal. I have a file on her. You can choke a horse with it. So I say, Mr. Clark, you committed treason when you dismissed my
Clark
case.
Dismissed a case where foreigners determined the U.S. election for Trump.
I door-to-door. I got signatures. I had a staff. I had an army. We got the signatures. Some of them are electronic, which is legal, by the way, in the state of Connecticut, because they changed the law in 2019 with Executive Order 7WW. And David Schultz has the stolen records.
This attorney
stole-
has the stolen
No,
records.
Mr. David Schultz's affidavit in this case proves there's no chain of custody in the state of Connecticut for voter information. And by the way, I sent a subpoena to Scott Bates. He's involved with Schultz's client.
Scott Bates is a
Gabby
defendant
Rosenberg.
in this case.
I have his testimony.
Gabby
of
Rosenberg
why
is a
the state of
defendant in this
Connecticut
case.
Did not use the GEM system with LHS and no ink and poll books to change the votes. In Michigan and Wisconsin, I have all the data. I gave it to the feds. They're coming soon. I'm telling you that. I've met with them numerous times. And this crap has to end where I don't get what I need that I'm entitled to, which is this.
Aren't we
fee
glad
waiver,
that Clark
because
has made
Judge
so
Adams
many
stole
treasonous
$2 million
mistakes?
from John J. Flynn through Kelly Dryan Warren, and then they sent a hitman to kill me. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. I am saying that
Well, this is,
I've been working with the feds.
we're 9 minutes into a 20, we have 12 minutes
and
remaining.
It's coming, okay? They're looking to put people away. And I gave them the evidence from the Ken Dixon case, who's working with the fired Ted Bromley. Ted Bromley was fired, director of elections. Okay? Ahern, fired. And you guys, Mr. Clark, you dismissed a case where the Secretary of State Director of Elections was fired for taking my 57,000 signatures and giving them to Ken Dixon. This is a massive cover-up. It implicates election fraud in 20 other states. It's in the evidence of the case you dismissed. It's in the revised complaint, which nobody read. Are you really? I sued 640 Connecticut registrars and town clerks that held them.
Sorry, folks.
You just got, you muted yourself, I think, there, Mr. Flynn.
Oh.
You might have hit a button on your phone or something.
Or maybe something happened.
Yeah,
I
you're
apologize.
back now.
Now
That's okay. Let me use that as a.
But hold on a
Let
second.
me just use
Hold
that
on
as a
a
quick
second.
opportunity.
I'm
To
disabled.
just check in. Hold on a second, Mr. Flynn. I want to just check in specifically with Attorney Schultz with regard to the comment you made about having emailed him information related to your case flow request, which was number 135. So I'm just asking Attorney Schultz if he received email communication from you about the case flow request and whether that may constitute the logic for clicking the consent box in the motion. Okay.
He had multiple.
Attorney Schultz. Let's hear from Attorney Schultz. Hold on, Mr. Flynn. Attorney Schultz.
Yes, thank you, Judge. Mr. Flynn has 2 email addresses for me. I've received nothing from him on this case to either email address. I don't know where he's...
Nothing on this case. Hold on a second.
But I have received nothing, and my...
That's
representation
insane.
of the court submitted in number 136 is accurate.
So, Mr. Flynn, I'm going to give you a chance to summarize and follow up and just stay focused on this case.
Did you check
This
his
case,
spam?
the fee waiver request. Why should that be overturned?
Because you are helping him by dismissing the largest election fraud hacking case in American history. They changed 10 million votes, and I have the data. And you should be disbarred. You have multiple habeas writs against. There's 20 habeas writs and habeas corpus against judges in the Stanford Superior Court. I'm not really involved in all that, except that, hold on a second. He didn't check his spam folder. Look on this machine. Did you check your spam folder, Mr. David Schultz? Yes or no?
We're not engaged in the examination. We're talking about the fee waiver request. You say you sent him an email. He's saying he never got an email. Regardless, I gather he doesn't consent to the hearing.
I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see this. You want to share a screen? How many emails I've sent?
No. I'm okay with your representation.
Of course you
that
don't.
emailed him.
Of course you don't. Open the screen.
Anything
here.
further on the fee request?
You had a duty to because I'm on Husky. You can't deny me a fee waiver. Actually, it's worse than that. I already have some of the inter-office communications between the judges, okay? Someone on your staff sent them to me. I'm going to prove right now how many emails I sent to this guy. Send. Here we go. B. Schultz. What's the Yale address? What's the Yale address? David?
Barry Schultz, do you want to give the email address that you have provided?
Yeah, just for the record, I will note that I called Mr. Flynn after he didn't appear to be sure he had received notice of this. He asked me for my email address, and I gave it to him.
Yes, he did.
He also told me that he had...
Jonathan Bubar doesn't send it to me. Jonathan Bubar, for a matter of fact, in the case you dismissed, I marked multiple motions more than 6 times. None of them were heard. I went to the courtroom on the date. Your door was locked. You were scheduled to hear the things, and you didn't open the door. I stood in the hall for an hour, about 5 times, went down to the clerk. Hey, this is in person, Judge Clark, 6th floor. I'm standing outside. Why aren't you hearing these cases? You never unlocked the door. And you didn't even require anyone from the Secretary of State's office. By the way, I don't know if you are aware of this.
Let's stay focused on the fee waiver.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, let's just wrap that up. We've got other matters to deal with.
Hold on a
Let you
second.
conclude.
Heather Lindsay was threatened at gunpoint on 5/30/2023. She was told that if we pursue this lawsuit, she will be shot in the head like her son was. I went to the Stamford Police. I went to the Norwalk Police. I went to the State Police. I went to the Hartford Police. And guess what? That was 40 days ago. So here we go. They are threatening witnesses in your case that you dismissed. She's a witness of mine. Guess who else?
You just muted yourself again. I'm just going to let you wrap up and focus on the Dixon case. The Dixon case and the fee waiver. You're muted at the moment, so I think you pushed a button again.
Case. Yes.
There you go.
The Hartford Current, which is a public newspaper statewide, okay, is involved in the Stephen Barrier murder that I filed a lawsuit on that Judge Kremrich dismissed, just like you. I have the snuff video of them murdering that kid, and so does John Nickerson, who works with Ken Dixon, because when they got the autopsy back from the state, they said, Johnny, you're a liar. We have the autopsy. I said, oh yeah, does it say no bruising? They go, yeah. I go, okay, so tell me, where's his forehead? They scraped it right off the kid by dragging him on his head after they tasered him for an hour and a half in the driveway. They murdered that kid. He's screaming and screaming, and the cops are saying, ha ha ha, I made him shit his pants. While they're killing him, they murdered him, and then 4 hours later, they restaged the body cam evidence with 21 actors. 21 cops showed up to restage the Norwalk Hour Stanford Advocate first publications of a murder.
Hey, Mr. Flynn, anything further on the fee waiver request?
Yeah. You can't deny it because I'm disabled, and that's the law.
So disabled, the Husky and
Correct.
the money being taken from your account.
And you should be ashamed of yourself, because when the feds come, and they're coming, I'm told they're coming, you know, they may not come for another year. There's so much crap going on in the state of Connecticut. They may not come ever. There's so much crap going on in Washington, D.C. Okay, fine. You tell me. You just screw me. And you're very vocal between each other. After all, Judge Adams' law firm, Kelly Dry, robbed me. The guy who signed the checks works for Judge Adams. His name is Chris Parent. You're allowing my checkbook, my brokerage firm, my assets to be stolen. I have 2 foreclosures. Judge Tierney took my house, and these bastards stole 28 cash stolen mortgage checks. My house, my mortgage is not in my name. I'm on the title, not the mortgage. How can you take my house, which you did, 2 of them? Why, how can you take Heather Lindsay's house? She was raped by Dr. Ahuja. She was drugged. Her house was foreclosed upon. Yeah. Gennario heard the whole case. He allowed the police to destroy the evidence, A. B. Dr. Ahuja's brother, Michael Ahuja...
Okay, Mr. Flynn, we're gone.
Oh, no. Oh, wait. You guys are sitting, hold on his arrest record. Michael Ahuja...
I believe I've got the information on the fee request issue, so I appreciate that.
10 seconds, please.
10 seconds, go ahead.
Mike Ahuja is claiming he bought all you judges, and he has gotten arrested. He had $18 million in his trunk, and you guys are screwing me, Sam Magliari, Andrew Pritchard, Heather Lindsay, Chris Kelly. By the way, Chris Kelly got threatened by the same guy, Michael Ahuja, and Kavanowski ruled on his case multiple times. Chris Kelly's protection order was denied, and his affidavit went to the feds with the case, with this case. There's a reason why they want to kill him. And you know what? I fought a hitman that Judge Provader sent to kill me, who Chief of Police Larrabee sent to murder me. I fought him for 2.5 hours, and that's on the record too. I sent the case to Heller, same thing. I sent the case to Jacobs, same thing. What type of judge won't let a person play a 911 call? There are 31 911 calls. Your associates communicating with each other about how you want to screw Johnny Flynn, and it's all on tape, and it's in the Edison system, completely viewable, and it can't be erased. What's going on here? Go to jail, all of you. And it's not so funny, David, okay? Because you're implicated too. You knew Ted Bromley has my stolen petitions. Fact. It's in your affidavit. Fact.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Flynn. Appreciate the arguments. I'll rule on your...
Appreciate the arguments.
You're going to screw me, so go ahead. I'm going to take my
Thank you,
house.
Mr. Flynn.
These judges are murderers.
Appreciate it. I'm going to get back to the other cases.
Yeah, I hope you
Mr.
get
Flynn,
back
you're
before they
excused.
arrest you.
You're excused,
Put you
Mr.
in
Flynn,
jail
as are
for
you,
1,000
Attorney Schultz.
years.
Thank you so much.
All I'd like to say is that there are so many cases that Hearst is determining the outcome for the judges because Hearst Media is organized crime. Tell Mike Pignataro I said so, because they covered up many murders, not just Stephen Barrier. And there's a huge money train in bribery going to cover these items up. Oh yes, there are. And we'll talk about some of the major ones, because one of them is 5G. Election fraud is another one. Have a great day.